Hello everyone, I'm here today with part 7 of Evans Ryerson O-level. So once Stephens returned to the cell to see whether Evans was there or not, what he saw was very surprising and he was completely shocked to say it. So what was the scene that he saw? He saw McClary sitting there and his head was profusely bleeding. He was writhing in pain and the sight was very, very disturbing. And for a single, you can say for a fraction of a second, Stephens felt that maybe it was Evans himself. But then he saw that no, it was not Evans, it was McClary. And the blood was dripping from his head very profusely, and McClary was trying to cover his injured portion of the head with a white handkerchief, and within a few minutes the handkerchief was completely drenched in blood. Stephens started shouting. Stephens was very frightened and very scared, and he could not understand how was it possible after so much tight security, how Evans managed to escape by hurting McClary. So he started shouting, and Jackson came, the siren. You all must be knowing this fact that when a prisoner runs from a prison, they start ringing the siren in order to alert everyone that a prisoner has escaped. So the siren was ringing everywhere. All the police officers were alert, and everyone was running here to there in search of Evans. Jackson came to the cell. Other police officers came, and they saw that McClary was there, and he was very badly injured on his head, and he was moaning in pain. Almost crying in pain. Somehow McClary sat straight. McClary was not sitting straight. Somehow he raised himself up. His face was twisted because he was badly injured. He was suffering from pain. But he told Jackson and Stephens that he was all right. They should not worry about him. He was all right. And he was telling them that he knew where Evans had gone to. McClary was telling Stephens and Jackson that they should not worry about him, and he was knowing where Evans had gone to. So this was something very you can say important information, a very important piece of information for them. And then what he did, the governor was informed. The governor was informed about it, that Evans had escaped. The governor was also shocked that he had made such a tight security arrangement. In spite of it, how Evans managed to escape, that was beyond his level of understanding. Anyhow, he told Jackson that if needed, McClary should be hospitalized. McClary, and they were calling the police also. Now McClary was telling them that he knew where Evans had gone to. And what was McClary having in his hand? The German question paper. The examination in which Evans had appeared. He was having the German question paper in his hand, and when the governor immediately came to Oxford prison. McClary was taken to him, and McClary told that very cleverly the accomplices of Evans, they had given him a secret message. How they gave that secret message? They had superimposed a paper at the last page of the question paper. The last page of the question paper apparently appeared to be blank. But a page had been superimposed. Superimposed means pasted on it, on which a message was written. And what was the message that had been sent to Evans? The message was this, that he must follow the plan that had been already chalked out, and the most important thing before the end of the examination was 3 minutes before the end of the examination. 11:25 the exam was to be over. So 3 minutes before 11:25 was the most vital moment, the most crucial moment of this escape plan of Evans. Okay? And it was instructed, the message was also this, that Evans should not hit McLary very hard because he was a very respectable person and he was aged as well. So McLary read it out. Everything was written in German and McLary read it out. Governor was, you can say, completely amazed, perplexed rather. He was confused. He could not understand how did Evans manage to escape even after having such a tight security. Now the detective superintendent, another character has been introduced over here. It's the detective superintendent Carter. Governor called the detective superintendent Carter. Carter came, and governor, he was very shocked to see McLary bleeding so badly. Governor told him everything in short, and then he's told that Evans must be caught. This man was knowing, McLary was knowing where Evans had gone to which direction, to which place, and he must be followed, he must be chased, and he must be caught. Carter was waiting for the governor's order only, what to do with McLary. Governor told that he should take McLary along with him, and he should get him hospitalized as well because McLary was very badly injured. Immediately he needed some medical help. So he should be hospitalized by Carter, and then Carter should go for his work. Now McLary was, you can say, guiding the police. McLary told they should go towards Elsfield Way, and Elsfield Way was the place where the examination board office was situated. Okay, Elsfield Way is the name of a place. That was the place where the examinations board office was situated. So now it became very clear to the governor that some people from the examinations board office were helping Evans in his plan. That was now for sure. The governor turned to Jackson and Stephens. He said he does not now, they left. Carter left with McLary. Now governor was very angry with Stephens and Jackson. Understood? Governor was very angry with Stephens and Jackson. He thought that because of the negligence of these two people, Evans managed to escape in spite of having such a tight security. Okay? So he was very angry with them, looking with angry eyes, and now he turned towards the governor, towards Stephens and Jackson, the governor, and he asked very angrily that which fool among you bid Evans goodbye from the main gate? Stephens told that as instructed by the governor, he had done it because the phone call came at 11:20. A phone call came for him. 11:22. A phone call came for him, and he was instructed by the governor that he should take McLary to the main gate, and as instructed, he did it. Now the governor understood how intelligent, how clever Evans' accomplices were when Stephens told him this fact. Alright student, this much in part 7.